guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Ken, and today we're here to review Child's Play 2.
Child's Play 2.
Our second stop on the road to Chucky Season 2.
The road to Chucky.
The road to Chucky Season 2. We're going to be reviewing, all the Chucky movies, even the bad ones, which we've got some of those coming.
Right.
But yeah, Child's Play 2 is the movie that we are going to review today. And I'm excited to get into this one.
Yeah.
But before we do that, we need you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like this video and comment down below your thoughts, your own thoughts on Child's Play 2. Is it your favorite of the franchise? A lot of people would say this is their favorite of the franchise. And then, yeah, comment down below and subscribe and turn on those bell notifications for all future videos. So, yeah, where do you want to start with this one? As you see, we got all this Child's Play 2 stuff behind us. So we even got the ruler that we got at Spirit Halloween the other day.
Yeah, we made a trip out to Spirit Halloween, and we have a cool vintage lunchbox and the ruler, like you said, and then a couple movies.
Yeah. So where do you want to start with this one? This is a hard one for me to get into. I do love this movie, but I want to know your thoughts because I've talked about it extensively on my channel. What's your thoughts of Child's Play 2?
Yeah, so without having all the other Chuckies like fresh in my mind, this one I have to say is probably my favorite of all of them. I know you really like the first one, but for me, this one's just better. I feel like it's more entertaining. We get more Chucky. Yeah. And I just think it's a better story.
Yeah, you get a lot more Chucky in this movie. And the first one, he doesn't really even come out till about 50 minutes in.
Right, yeah.
So I would say the first movie is a legitimately great horror film. This one's the best Child's Play movie. This is the best Chucky movie.
Yeah.
He's in it the whole movie. There's a lot of cooler kills in this movie. The setting's a lot cooler. I just love the style
the setting, for sure.
and overall direction of this movie. This movie's directed by John LaFia, who took part in writing the first one. So he was involved in the franchise previously. But I love the direction of this. It's almost directed and showcased like an old like classic monster movie. I feel like just some of the shots that they get in this movie.
You think?
Just with like Chucky. I'm thinking of the shot in the house. There's a lot of like blues in the movie too, and the lightning's crashing through the windows, and you just kind of see Chucky and just the angle they have it in. I don't know. Gotcha. It just reminds me of that like classic horror.
Yeah, I think
feel. Even the score is like very classic horror in this movie.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I know the scenes that you're. Like, I know what you mean by classic monster movie, but I guess I can't think of the scenes where you're thinking that. But, yeah, I mean, like you were mentioning with the setting, like I think that's one of the reasons why I like this one so much is just, the setting with the toy factory.
Oh, yes. That toy factory is iconic.
Right. It's just epic.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, does it open up with the toy factory owner, or is it the good guy owner, or? Yeah,
so I mean, it picks up right where you leave off from the first one. Well, we're a year later. Andy was 6 in the first one. He's 7 in this one. Now, the timeline of the movie's actually being made is 2 years. So it's a year later. They burn Chucky in the first one, and they're using the same model in this one because in the beginning they're like scraping him down to the metal.
That was a cool scene where they actually have the Chucky that got burnt
so
up.
It's the same Chucky in this one.
And I think I remember talking to you about it. I'm like, why would they literally take that Chucky and because they pretty much had to replace every single thing about him. I'm like, why wouldn't you just trash him? But then I think we find, shortly into this scene that it looked like they were kind of doing an experiment on him to see what could have happened with him.
Yeah, they were testing him and everything like that. And I think it was they wanted to restore this particular Chucky because of all the stories about him. And it's hey, look, we have the Chucky that was involved in all this murder and stuff. But and there's nothing wrong with him. He's fine.
They ended up.
It's like almost like a publicity stunt of sorts.
I didn't get that at first, but they have that machine that is doing the kind of experiments on them, and they're trying to figure out why he malfunctioned.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to say that he malfunctioned, and that's how
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
But then we're like 5 minutes into that scene, and everybody in the room gets electrocuted and dies.
Right.
So it's like at that point, it's like, what's going on? Maybe maybe there's something is up with this doll.
Weren't they like about like the eyeballs were lowering down in?
Yeah,
into
and then
the new.
yeah, he basically like shocks the system that they're using to place him back together, and then like electrocutes the.
Right.
I don't know if it electrocuted. I think there was 2 people in the room, but I think it only electrocuted and killed one of them.
Right, that's what I remember too. But yeah, so that was just a cool scene, and it kind of, it explains how there even is another Child's Play, because it's like he was burnt to a crisp, and so this is how they decided to bring him back again. Yeah. And
it's pretty logical. I could see them actually doing something like that.
Wanting to,
yeah, but it just aesthetically, I really like this movie a lot. I just think it has a really cool look to it. Yeah. Not only do you have the factory setting at the end, but just, the foster home and stuff I think is a cool setting. And I like how they bring in the family dynamic, and Andy's with the family that's, trying to help him and care for him and stuff, and provide that stable family, atmosphere for him.
Right. And this, that is how we get introduced to Kyle.
Yep. His foster sister, who I would say is probably my favorite character in the franchise, beyond Andy and Chucky, of course. I really like Kyle. I've always liked Kyle, played by Christina Lisa. It's a shame she was only in one movie. Right. Because she comes back in the Chucky TV show. Right. Fortunately. But yeah, I've always been a fan of her character, even more so than, Jennifer Tilly as we would go on in the franchise. I know she's kind of the secondary character of the franchise with Chucky.
Right, which makes sense. She's a doll,
But yeah, that's I've always enjoyed her character and just her interactions with Andy, and I've always thought that they had a fun chemistry, and they care about each other. You can see in the end, like she's trying to protect him, and he's trying to help him protect her as well. And I just like their dynamic with each other in the movie. So I think that adds just a little something extra to this movie that some of the other sequels don't have.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that it's fair to say that a lot of other people probably really enjoyed her character as well, which is why they probably brought her back for the new show.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so I feel like I'm trying to think.
Also got a shout out real quick. Jenny Agutter plays the foster mom, and she was also an American Werewolf in London. So I really enjoy her as an actress as well. It's you as a kid, I always thought that she was really nice of the foster parents, and that the dad was always the jerk asshole guy. Just because like he's like, I don't know about this kid, and then it turns out in the end he was right because since they both die. But it's just funny how that all played out. But yeah, I mean, I've been watching this movie, and I'm pretty sure you have as well, pretty much since I was a kid. Like this is one of my earliest memories of watching a horror film. I've always loved it, ever since I saw it. Even as a kid, like I always knew that this one was my favorite. Like I liked watching the first one, but when I got to the second one, I was like, I just love this whole thing. Right. And it's because it just has all the cool settings and moments. And we talked about the doll factory sequence a little bit earlier, but it's such a great set piece for a horror movie. Yeah. Like you're already afraid of Chucky, and then you drop him in this factory full of Chuckies, and him and Kyle are in there and they're trying to escape. And every turn is a new Chucky doll and stuff. It's not like they all come to life or anything, but it's just it's a cool set piece. Just like
seeing the process of like all the dolls being made and stuff.
Oh like yeah, that was super cool.
It was very like extravagant, and like I was just thinking the whole time when I was watching it, like what it must have been like to be on that movie set, and to have all those details and everything. And also we mentioned like the foster home that Andy gets put in, like even that setting was also good. Just that house, it kind of had this creepy feel. They the mom, she like collected all these different like little figurines and stuff, and
like some clowns and stuff, I think.
Yeah. And so one scene that really comes to mind that was really creepy was once Chucky found Andy and like knew the house and everything. Yeah. I'm thinking of, so we find out that the mom had a Chucky doll,
Tommy,
previously. Yeah. And so of course, Andy he's like going through the closet finding new toys and stuff, and the doll falls out of the closet, and he's like freaks out, of course, and the the
And poor
foster
Andy,
mom.
like he tries to get over his fears.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm just gonna pretend like I like this doll so they don't think I'm a weirdo.
Yeah.
Then it turns out that it's Chucky because he switched it out. So
Well, yeah, what I was going to say is Chucky ends up switching the dolls out or whatever. And I thought it was really cool how Chucky buried the other doll.
Yep.
And, there's a swing right there, and they had been swinging, and so the dirt would get moved, and, like, you end up, that's when...
And that's how Kyle finds and knows that Andy was telling the truth. So,
I just thought that scene was really cool. And just, like, very creepy. Like...
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so...
But, yeah, it's... A lot of cool kills in this movie. I mean, a lot of iconic kills, I would say. You got Mrs. Kettlewell with the ruler and that image that's just seared into my brain forever of Chucky coming out of that closet with that look on his face. It's the meanest and nastiest look that Chucky's ever given. And when I was watching the special features, they go into that scene, and apparently it took them like a couple days to film that because it was such a process to get everything. They had like 8 puppeteers like making him move and stuff across the floor. So just you have to respect that, the amount of work that went into, making this doll feel real. Because now they would just do it
on a computer.
And they would just do it on a computer. It's done.
Yeah.
They actually cared about making stuff look like real and authentic back then.
But to be fair, they kind of had to back then.
They kind of had to. The technology wasn't there. But that's why I feel like movies back in the day just hold up so much better than I think movies today will. But I really don't have a lot of negatives to this movie. I love this movie. I'm sure there's I could probably talk about this movie for like an hour. There's just a lot of stuff I would want to get into. But it's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I think it's honestly maybe my favorite horror sequel of all time, and I like a lot of horror sequels, but it's up there. Like, it's just everything about this movie. I think that Chucky is the best that he has ever been in this movie. I just don't think that it gets any better than Chucky and Child's Play 2. You got the one-liners, the "How's it hanging, Phil," and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's another scene.
That's an iconic line.
Like the stair scene with not stepfather, but the foster dad. That's one that kind of, you talked about the teacher, that scene being seared in your brain. For me, it was like the step one where he puts the hook up his leg and makes him fall. Ugh.
Or I hate kids when he's in the doll factory. I hate kids. Yeah. His nose is running with blood and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
I love everything about this movie. If I'm gonna score this, honestly, I gotta give it I don't know if I can go 5 out of 5, but I want to go 5 out of 5. So I think I am. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. Yeah. It's one of my favorite horror movies of all time.
Yeah, I think that I would give it a 5 out of 5 as well.
Really? You like it that much? And it's a short movie. This is only 85 minutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really enjoy this movie. But that's Child's Play 2. Again, we want to know your thoughts in the comments section below. Let us know. Hit the like button. Also, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We will be reviewing Child's Play 3, Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, all the Chucky's, Curse, Cults, the remake, hopefully, if we get the time. And yeah, all the Chucky. So hit the subscribe button if you're interested in that. We also review new movies and stuff like that as well. So yeah, that's all we got. Turn on the bell notifications. Follow us on our social media account down below, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.